Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how I made this Halloween video in After Effects.
We come to see the teddy bear.
So I'm going to start with a new composition of 1920 by 1080, with a frame rate of 24 frame per second and a duration of 1 minute 7 second. I'm going to bring in my ground texture into the timeline and make a new black solid with a resolution as my composition. Now I will turn my ground texture and solid into a 3D object by clicking this icon. Now I'm going to rotate my ground texture and solid on their x-axis. I will push them down on their z-axis and scale them out a little bit. I'm going to create a mask on my black solid with the ellipse tool. Press Ctrl and T to free transform your mask. Check the inverted, to invert your mask from the inside to the outside. And increase your mask feather to about 311 pixels. I'm going to draw a mask around my ground texture and feather it out a little bit so that it fade in nicely with the background. Now I will pre-comp my ground texture and solid together. Now let the fun begin. I'm going to create a new shape layer, to use for my box model. I will also make the shape layer a 3D object. I will push it back in Z space. I will make a duplicate of the shape layer and switch to the top view. And push the duplicated shape layer into Z space. I will make another duplicate for the side of my box model. Now I will bring in a wooden texture to use as a mat for my shape layers. Be sure to make your texture a 3D object. I'm going to copy the position of my front shape layer and paste it on my wooden texture position. Now the wooden texture position is on the same position as the front shape layer. I am now going to use the wooden texture as a mat for the front shape layer. Oh yes, we are now slowly creating our wooden box model. I'm going to do the same thing for the other sides of my box. Be sure to make your wooden texture a 3D object, else it won't work correctly. Now is time to create some shadows to create a sense of depth. All I'm just doing is copying and pasting the shape layers, then changing it color to black, add a mask and feather. I want to use this texture as a design for my box model. I'm going to frame it around my box model. But first I'm going to mask out a section out of the texture. Be sure to make the texture a 3D object. I will also love to color correct the texture to give it an old feel. Feel free to color correct it your own way, else look at my curves graph. Now I will try to match it with my box model. I will switch to the top view, to see it in 3D space. Here I will align it to the position of my box model. I'm going to make copy of the texture and then push it down. Do the same thing for the other sides. I'm going to jump into my precomp of my ground texture and my solid and copy the solid. I want to use it as a shadow for my box model. I will delete the mask we had before. And click on the eye icon to hide the layer so I can see how I am working. I'm going to draw a mask on the layer, be sure that is the layer that is selected. Click on the eye icon again to make the layer visible. Now I'm going to feather the shape a touch. I'm going to write a text on the box, feel free to write whatever you like. Now I will make a new shape layer for the top of my box model. I will also make it a 3D object. And rotate it on its x-axis. I will switch to the top view to see from 3D space. I will align the shape layer to match my box model. I'm going to change the anchor point of my box cover from the middle to the bottom, so when I rotate it, it will rotate from where the anchor point is. Now I'm going to bring out my wooden texture to use as a mat for my box model cover. Copy the position of the box model cover and paste on the position of your wooden texture. Now use the texture as a mat for your shape layer. Use the pick whip to parent your wooden texture to your shape layer, so whatever the shape layer does, the wooden texture does the same. I'm going to create a new camera. I'm going to animate the Z position of the camera to create a dolly move. The text is not staying on its position because is not yet a 3D object. I will fix that. Select both keyframes, right click, select Keyframe Assistant, then ease both keyframes. Cool, camera movement looks good. Now I need to animate the box cover. Cool, we are getting there. I'm going to create a new solid with the orange color. I will use this as light rays coming out of the box model. I will mask out a section out from the solid. I'm going to make the mask a 3D object and align it inside my box model. I am now going to animate the mask to come out just about when my box model is opening up. Cool, now I need to feather the top of the mask so that it fade out nicely. Create a new mask on top of your previous mask and subtract it from the previous one. Now feather your second mask, which is going to say mask 2. Now we have something like this. Cool. Now I'm going to animate the light ray. I'm going to use a simple expression to loop the animation out. Good, now I will make duplicate of the light ray and spread them inside the box model. I'm going to create another solid with the same color as my light ray. I'm going to use this as a light illuminating out from the box model. If you don't know how the 3D views work in After Effects, let me know in the comment section. I am more than ready to make a video so you can understand how it works. I want the shape illuminating light to flicker continuously, so I'm going to add an expression to the opacity to do that. Now let's RAM preview to see how far we have come. Great stuff we have here, isn't it? I am now going to bring in my pumpkin photo for the final step. I'm going to make it a 3D object and place it inside my box model. Now I'm going to animate its Y position so that it come out swiftly from the box. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new here, like and share this video, follow me on Instagram and stay blessed.